How to test a camshaft positioning sensor. This is out of the 2009 Hemi truck. And this is the crankshaft positioning sensor out of a 2009 Hemi truck. Let's get to her. All right, go to Mopar connector repair kits. And then you'll see down here, find a vehicle. Now, if you can see this or not. But all you have to do is go to select the year. And the truck that we have, we're going to do the test on, 2009. And it clicks right over here to 25, 35, 45, 50, 500. So the 2009 model is completely different from the 2008 and the 2010. I don't know why, but it is. And then we're going to click on there. Now, what we want to find is crankshaft or camshaft, right? So type in cam. And it goes to camshaft or sensor camshaft diesel, sensor camshaft position, gas. And gas again. I think they're both the same, maybe. And the pin. No, that's not the right one. Because this pin, I don't know if you can see that, but it's different. Yeah, we'll have to go back to the other one. So what you have to do is go back to home. There's a home up here. Go back to home. You gotta do this all over again. It's the only way it works. 2009 cam. And then we'll go this one. Still the same, eh? That is weird. Usually these things are pretty good. Anyways, so it's going to be backwards. So when you plug this in, it's going to go in this way to your connector, right? So 1 is going to be this side, 2 is center, and 3 is this side. So when you spin it around, you're looking at it this way. It'll be 1, 2, 3. And 1 is the power, 5 volt. 2 is ground, and 3 is computer signal. Now, what we have to do is get the system that I rigged together, and hopefully this will work for you too. Let's get this thing laid out. I have a 5 volt supply here. Right, this is just a charger for a phone. And I cut the ends. Right? You'll have to find your positive and your negative. Just use your tester. So this has all been modified. Here's positive and here's the negative. Next step. This is a resistor. And the only reason I know this is I watched some guy do it on YouTube. And this is something I bought for a computer thing that I was working on years ago. Anyway, so I think it's, I don't know if you can see that or not, but there it is. That's what it is. And then these are just some spare wires that I had, right? So I can just put them on here. And it's got connectors on the end. One side, this side here, is going to go directly to 5 volts. And then this side here is going to go to the sensor. And if you cross them around, what happens is that you won't get a proper voltage reading. So when you put this to the 5 volt side and this to the sensor side, then your scanner, your multimeter will read 5 volts, 4.5 or whatever, right? So just keep that in mind, because it doesn't work unless you have this. Next, what I did was, this is a wire. These are wires. Excuse me. These are wires from an old headlights or driving light system I had. So I just depinned them and took them out, because these are small, right? See? Take this off. See how small that one is? And those are small pins in there. This is, so this sensor, crankshaft, this is a crankshaft sensor from that same engine. And it's not responding the way it should. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hook these wires into the the camshaft sensor, and we'll see if that works. We have the camshaft sensor, and the way I got everything wired up is red is positive, right? Red is positive. This is the positive one. Black is negative. Make sure you don't want those guys touching each other in there, because there's not much room. Oh, got that one turned the wrong way. Oh no, that's right. There we go. That one's right. See them, they're touching each other, right? You don't want that. Let's just spin that over or something. Huh. Like I said, there's not much room in there. Alright. Just gotta turn them the right way. And they will go in there without touching each other. There we go. So we got power, ground, sensor. This is going to your computer. Next, what we have to do is we're going to have to power the system up. I got my power supply plugged in. So here's the red wire. Positive to positive. The white wire is going to the sensor, and this is ground. So we got the power and the ground hooked up. And then you're going to need another power wire. So I got this wire here. This is going to go here to the power. Our alligator clip there. This resistor, so you got the power side, right? It goes to this power. So I'm just taking power off the main source, right? Hooking it to the resistor on this side. Like I said, if you don't get a proper reading, the wires are crossed, that's all. Just switch them around. And then, see, I already did it. I got them hooked up wrong. That's how easy it is. This wiring is confusing, man. I know. I had it right the first time. Okay. Yeah. That's hooked up right. Now, take this side and we hook it to the computer side of the sensor. The sensor, right? Hope this is making sense. Because it's a mess of wires. And I just spent hours, man, trying to figure this out. Okay, so now we have the sensor, right? And the way we test the sensor is we got to get our multimeter on there. Multimeter is set to 20 volts. Okay, now you're going to want to take the ground, the black, and you're going to hook it to the ground off your power supply going to the multimeter. So these three are all hooked together now. Those are all hooked together. All the grounds are hooked together. Make it simple. Now you take the red off the multimeter and you hook it to the opposite side of the power. So here's the power, the opposite side of the power on the resistor, right? Full power. This is going to the sensor. So the sensor wire is this white wire, right? Okay, now you see how it went to 4.5 volts? Now, you take your sensor It's working because look at, because on this phone, there's a magnet here. See that? So that all I have is this needle nose pliers, right? And I just go near it and it goes to 0. Oh, it's working now. What's going on here? There. There. So it works. That sensor works. These were not working. I've been trying to start a truck forever. And I couldn't figure out what was going on. And it turns out it's this. Okay. Now, if you want to do a recap in reverse, we have the sensor. It is hooked to the resistor. Actually, you know what we'll do? I'll just show you that this doesn't work. No, it doesn't work because I already tried it on a different one here. It's just too complicated. But we have the resistor. Like I said, there's a mess of wires here, man. Okay, we'll unhook this. So that was going to the computer side of the sensor, right? The white wire. The ground on the multimeter was hooked to the ground on the power supply and the ground on the sensor. All three need to get hooked together, right? Things coming apart. So looking at it that way. Power, negative, computer. Your resistor. Now, I don't know why we need that resistor, but some guy had figured it out. And fortunately I had one. So I don't know, just by luck, I guess. Yeah, it's a mess of wires. It was way worse before because I was trying to do with just splicing wires together here and there, and it wasn't working very good. Okay, let's just do another sample here. Let's do this all over again. Because a lot of times people get confused. Like, I got confused. I get confused so easy. We will do another whole test on one that doesn't work. Right? So here's our power supply again, right? Mess of wires. And a sensor that doesn't work. That's a crankshaft sensor. I'm going to do the same thing again. And get the wires. I think if a person is going to be doing lots of your own backyard mechanicking, and you come across things that you might be doing a lot, it's good to have things put in place so it just makes your life easier. Because I'm just a backyard mechanic. I don't know what I'm doing half the time. Alright. Power. No, we'll go, let's go back to the internet here, right? So that's crankshaft sensor. I'm sure that's one. I'm sure that's power, but we'll check it out. So we'll go back here, right? I'll turn the light off. And then we'll go back to home page. And then we'll go to 09. And this time we'll start with crankshaft. Crankshaft sensor. The engine. And one is 5 volt. So you gotta remember everything's backwards, right? So you plug it in this way, turn it around, and that's 1 power. So we're going to start with the power, right? Red. Plug that in. Black. Plug that in. Make sure they're not touching. And white. Yep. There we go. Oh, man. You gotta watch too, those little pins down there. They bend easy. Alright, it's on there. So we'll take that. I'm sure a guy could build like a little power box. It's not, so you're not dealing with this mess of wires all the time, right? And then we'll take the power again, right? Power. Black is ground. Get our multimeter again. Set to 20 volts. Set to 20 volts. Hook up the ground again. Got the sensor wire here. Get our resistor. I should have found a red wire, and that would have been just made my life a lot easier. And then we'll hook the power back up. Hook the sensor back up. Right. Full power supply, and then coming off through your resistor through here. Still get the 4 volts. I'll put that over there. Now we have this guy. And what is going on here? How come there's no power? Something ain't right. Power, power, power. Everything's hooked up. What is going on here? Oh, I don't know. I gotta hook this guy up still. So the red guy's got it hooked up to there. There. There's our voltage. Something came out hooked here. Something came out hooked. There we go. Back to our full voltage. And here's our sensor, crankshaft sensor. Does nothing. Whereas the other one just worked right away. As soon as I got near the phone with it, see, I'm getting near the phone here. Does nothing. Doesn't work. And that's how I learned how to test sensors. So this one was working. We saw it work. And this one's not working. And it doesn't work. And that's why my truck won't start. I really hope that's helpful. Hope you can understand that. Peace out. How to test your crankshaft positioning sensor.